Sean Kosofsky here, the Nonprofit Fixer with Mind the Gap Consulting and the Nonprofit Fixer YouTube channel. I just want to include a video on my channel here about one of my earliest big fundraising posts, blog posts called The Big List of Fundraising Methods. And this is really a long sort of list of a lot of different ideas that nonprofits can use to think about ways to bring in money. So I'll just go through a few right now, but if you click on the link down below, it'll take you right to this blog post. I think there's even a way to print it as a PDF, but either way, you can definitely go to the website to see all this in writing, cut and paste, share this with your friends. But when you're thinking about all of the different ways money could come into your nonprofit, you're not stuck with just having one, two, or even three. There's lots of different ways. If you're a small organization, I would encourage you to focus on just 3 or 4 maximum areas of revenue. But if you're a bigger organization, you might have many. So one area, of course, is events. Events don't have to be huge galas. They could just be small house parties. They could be a happy hour that you do monthly where people pass the bucket and drop in $10, and you do that in a regular way. There's lots of different ways to do events. In addition to house parties and galas, you also could think about cultivation events or donor appreciation events, virtual events also, especially since COVID. Another way to bring money in is to consider grants. And if you go to the blog post, you'll see there's a much longer list of kinds of events. Grants are written proposals that you submit to a company or a foundation, sometimes the government, to ask for money in order for you to either do something or to do the normal thing you do. So you can ask for money from a foundation to do a very specific project in a very specific year, or ask a foundation or the government to give you money to just do what you normally do, called general operating support. But grants are a huge way that nonprofits get money. Sometimes it is the main way nonprofits get money, and sometimes it is the biggest gift that they get is from a grant. Also, you can think about digital fundraising, and this is like a wide open world right now. Everything from emailing out requests, having a donation button on your website, using peer-to-peer software, whether it's GoFundMe or Facebook fundraisers. There are so many different ways in which to raise money digitally, and the environment is changing constantly, whether it's crypto or Amazon. These things are always constantly changing. You can even do mail. Mail is still a main area where lots of organizations, especially big organizations, are investing because there is a pretty good return rate on mail. May seem like a lot of waste, may seem like a lot of time and energy to keep people's contact information up to date, but people really do still use a lot of mail. You can do direct mail, you can do membership mail, there's lots of different forms of mail, and you can see this in the blog post. In kind is another form of fundraising. Essentially, what that is asking for donors or companies or some entity to give you things that you actually need. You don't want things that are donated in kind that you don't need, like a chandelier or furniture. You might need airline miles, or you might need ink, toner, paper, postage. There's lots of different things, and you can actually have a strategy to get in-kind things donated. Many organizations thrive on that kind of fundraising. There's also workplace giving, where through United Way or other workplace giving programs, you can get workers at companies to designate part of their paycheck to go to charity. There's also individual donors, monthly sustainers, major donors, membership programs where your members actually can possibly vote for the board. But being a card-carrying member or an annual member of something is a little different than just being a donor, and you may have to look at what your state says about that. You can also do an annual fund. You can do phone canvassing, telemarketing. You can do all sorts of interesting things with fundraising by phone, on TV. If you have access to large audiences online, you can also do that. One of my favorite is giving circles. I'm also just going through this list here on my screen. Giving circles are sort of like a band of people who aren't on your board, but they are just out there in the world raising money for you throughout the year. Usually it's for one dedicated fund. So let's say you have found 25 young people that are all college students to form a junior board. And this junior board is sort of like your giving circle. So all year, all they do are social events, walks, river cleanups, happy hours, whatever it is. They don't have to make meetings or make big decisions. They're just there to mobilize their friends. And each time people get together, they put money into a pot basically to go toward the organization. This money can be rounded up and re-granted, rounded up and spent, rounded up and used, but there's lots of different ways to do giving circles. I think they're actually a lot of fun and they're very low cost. Campaigns. A campaign is a short burst of energy to get a very particular goal hit by a particular date. Could be a capital campaign, could be some other kind of campaign. Fee for service. This is where you're selling things in order to make money. You can sell products or services for your organization. You want to make sure that they are directly related to your mission, or you might have to pay unrelated business income tax. So be careful about that. Telethons, planned gifts, people giving to you through their will or through their planned giving vehicle. Major gifts. There's just so many of these. So go check out the blog post down below and you'll see a long list to draw from just to give you some ideas. So thanks so much. Hopefully you use it. If you do find it useful, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Thanks.